Hello, hello. Hi, guys. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So I'm going to do a reading for Pisces, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Also for your cross watchers. Also for those of us who find ourselves on this channel without any Piscean anything. You're probably an empath and you're probably needing messages from your soul. Okay. I'm just going to get these cards ready. Give me 1 second, guys. Alrighty. All right. Just checking to see that my connection is actually working. All right, there you go. So my connection's working. This app has been acting crazy for the past week. So just had to make sure. Okay, let's get started. I asked what this reading was going to be about. And what I got, it's a little bit concerning. Everything concerning. Everything is always concerning to me. I heard it's a secret, but you already know. So this is something that you already know. And I'm wondering if you're like trying to keep it from yourself. I'm wondering if this is something that you don't want to recognize. You don't want to acknowledge for one reason or another. You just don't want to acknowledge it. That's okay. That's okay. I don't want to acknowledge things either. Okay? So that's okay. Let me finish shuffling this deck. All right. Got there. We will do this. My deck. An entire storyline. It's an entire storyline coming out of the cards. An entire storyline. Right there, right there. Pull a little bit from this deck. Ooh, oops, got flipped. All right. Oh, shit. Okay. Michael says don't cheat. Okay, those two came out, so I'm going to pull them out too. And then I'm super hesitant to pull from this deck. But I guess we'll play along. We'll play along, okay? So, okay. Let's put them all right here. Worlds within worlds. For this card, what I'm getting is that there's a lot of things that have been going on inside of this situation, right? We're either talking about you or we're talking about your cross watcher. It's like a nesting egg type of thing where there's so many different things going on with the regular world, you know, the world that you live in, as well as the silent world inside you. There's a lot going on here. The energies are extremely intense. It has a lot to do with things you don't want to acknowledge. It has a lot to do with things that are maybe scary for you. It's a sense of it's scary for you because maybe this is a situation or a person that you don't really have much control around. A sense of like, it becomes this organic flow when you're around them. They're not like anyone else. This situation is not like any other situation that you've ever dealt with. This is something where it's like it has a life of its own. Let's pull more cards. I want to know what this is now. Move forward. Card number 23. So you or they haven't been able to move forward. With the number 23 being the number of the card, it's almost like this message of this is something that's been ridiculously profound. The number 23 is super significant. 2 is the number of guidance. 3 is the number of a solid foundation from which to build. 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 being the number of change. They're being guided on how to create a stability for themselves or for yourself as you prepare for some massive change. Now, that's the basics of the message. If you want to take the secondary, much more evolved message with it, that has a lot to do with the Melchizedeks. It has a lot to do with Blu-rays. It has a lot to do with soul connections. How is that so? Well, 23 always reminds me of Regulus 23. And that's the largest star in the Leo constellation, right? I believe it's the Leo constellation. It's the heart of the lion. It's also the star of Archangel Michael. And with that, it's almost like this destiny was written in the stars. This is something that it's a world within a world. This has to do with a really profound soul connection. I can't believe I'm being so upfront with the messages right now. Yeah, this has to do with a really profound soul connection. This is someone who is still in their shadow. They're in this dark night of the soul. They've just experienced a trauma-induced secretion with all of that blue and purple hazing around the head, around the body. It's almost like this encrypted communication that's taking place between that person and you. You know what I mean? Between that person and you. This is something that you cannot stop. You cannot stop this. You can try and pretend that it doesn't mean what it means to you. And again, we're gonna emphasize this does not necessarily have to do with romance. Okay, this is an extremely high level connectivity with another person. What that connectivity means, I don't know. It's a very soul-based thing. It's something that's going to be extremely profound for you and your growth. Are you willing to grow in this way? Because you'll have no control as you grow. You're not going to be able to, oh, that's what scares you. For those that this applies to, for those who are resonating with this message already, you have struggles with control. Okay. Not necessarily that you're a controlling person and telling everyone what to do and how to live. You're very uncertain about yourself and your place within your life. And you're also highly aware. You're highly aware of the different potentialities that are presented to you and the people you love. Some of these potentialities can lead to painful situations. And it's almost this thing of like, you want to save people from the pain. Honey, the pain is what helps you to grow. The pain is a symptom of your growth, of the expansion of your awareness of your consciousness. So what it boils down to, what I'm picking up on, is that this person represents a complete loss of control for you. And it's not necessarily that they're going to try and dominate you. It's that all of your defenses become suspended in their presence. Whether it's just, a digital type of communication, like text messaging, instant messenger, whatever it is, or if they're actually in real life, in your real life. You know what I mean? Like face to face type of communication, face to face type of interaction. Ooh, I think if it was like a face to face type of interaction, that's even more. That's even more, because if you already are being totally, like, your senses, your defenses, all of that is being subdued and it's just online. I mean, what's going to happen if you meet this person in person? What's going to happen? I think what's going to happen is whatever is meant to happen between the two of you. Whatever it is, it's going to be something that challenges your perception of how this is supposed to play out, how your life is supposed to play out, how I heard how your world is structured. Ooh, oh, I am worried for you. The entire structuring of your world is going to be put into question. The people and their place within it, that's going to be put into question. Let's keep going. Celestial teacher. Ooh. This completes when your celestial teacher is done helping you to learn whatever it is you're needing to learn through this. Now, when I say celestial teacher, this is not someone entering your life under the guise of teaching you. No, that's not how it works. This is someone who will just become a part of your life, and in their presence, their organic existence, you're going to start to learn things and consider things and ripen your inner under and overstanding of yourself and your soul. Okay. Understanding has to do with you knowing what's inside you, the components of you, your behaviors, your characteristics, the root causations, the traumas, like understanding yourself. Like, I know to some degree why I behave the way I behave. There are things within me that hurt, and this is me protecting myself. This is me empowering myself, whatever it is. You know what I mean? And overstanding is reaching this level of awareness where it's gnosis, basically, this internal knowing of the world outside of you. Understanding and accepting the natural function of people and how they enrich your learning cycles and whatever it is. Understanding that's the most basic human thing. It has to do with draconian teachings, this draconian fallen patriarchy type of matrix that we exist within. To understand is to stand under something, under the jurisdiction of something else or someone else. I don't think this has to do with an understanding. I think this person's presence, if you allow them into your life, this person's presence has everything to do with an inner standing and an overstanding. This is someone who's going to help elevate your knowing of yourself. That's scary. That's scary. Like, it's not a weakness. It's just scary. It's scary to finally get to a point where you're going to know more about why you function the way you do. If we want to look at this in terms of like twin flames and stuff, I did not have interaction. I've never even spoken to the person I think I think is my counterpart, the human. I've never even spoken to them. We've never had a verbal conversation. Okay, we exchanged messages for only maybe like a handful of weeks, if that. And it was this thing of like, the presence triggered everything. It got me singing. Everything got triggered. It really did, though. It really, really did. Ooh, offer peace of mind for a rainy day. Mm, wait, wait, wait. Earn points that counts towards companion. Okay, see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? All of these notifications coming together and providing a little bit more of a nuance to what I'm sharing. It's this thing of the person never intended to trigger me. Nonetheless, I was triggered AF. I was a triggered little bunny, was I not? Yes. Why? Because I saw myself existing outside of myself. We have very similar behavior, energy. Um, yeah. It was weird. It was weird. It was really weird to me because, like, the things that I couldn't understand that people would tell me, it's a big deal. Like, for example, back then, I was not doing publicly visible work. I would go through my little episodes of like, I don't want to interact with anyone. I'm triggered by life. And so I'm going to deactivate my accounts on social media. I wouldn't explain anything. I wouldn't make any posts or anything like that. No one had my phone number. Still, nobody has my phone number. So they wouldn't know how to reach me, right? I developed these friendships with people online. We were joking around all day. I created dependency because my jokes be lit. No, I was just constantly posting jokes and stuff and funny things. And so people became dependent on that. They wanted that early in the morning, and throughout the day because, whatever they were going through, it kind of made things easier for them to cope. And then it was never really my intention to hurt anyone. I just wanted quiet. I'm a very introverted person in real life. And so I would just quietly disappear suddenly. They would never see it coming. It's just suddenly my account is missing. I would deactivate it because I felt like it. And you're not going to tell me what to do. So I would deactivate it. And I remember, a good friend of mine, this one person that like we joke around a lot. Her posts are still hilarious. And she just said to me one day when I came back, she was like, you make me feel like an unloved stepchild. You just disappear and I feel so abandoned. And I'm like, it's not that serious. It's not like we go out to lunch every day and you even know all of this stuff about me. You have real friends in real life. This is Facebook. It's not real life. And I failed to realize the type of effect I was having on people. A lot of Pisceans and a lot of empaths, we fail to realize the gravity of our existence. We fail to realize that. Like, to me, it's like, who cares if I'm on social media or not? You have all these other friends, because a lot of my friends back then on social media had maxed out their friend list. They're all out 5,000 friends. I'm over here. I'm keeping it like 100 people, 150. Once I start hitting like 150 friend requests or friends on my friends list, I'm gonna start culling the herd. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna start removing people because that's too many people. That's too many people. No, that's just too many. And so, because it was such a small amount, I had the ability and the energy to create very deep connections with people. that was still well within my norm of how much I can give you in regards to attention, in regards to support. And I didn't realize how much I became a part of these people's lives. So fast forward to the period where I was interacting with a person I guess is my counterpart. I don't know. I want to believe that this person isn't. But Michael keeps like, you foolish child. Fine, whatever. So I assume this person is my counterpart, right? And then my behaviors, I witnessed that. I witnessed that, and it didn't necessarily hurt my feelings. And I was just like, oh, you're probably busy. Oh, yeah, no, totally, just disappears. Fine. Because I felt like it's fine. I don't feel like I did anything. I don't feel like you're mad at me. It's fine. And then it got to this point where one day it clicked. Oh my God. What if it's not fine? Oh no. Is this what I'm doing to people? Is this what it is? Like, oh my God. Because I could feel people. I could feel people intensely. And when you come across an actual counterpart, whether they're a twin flame, a twin ray, a dark twin, whatever, there's so many different types. You can feel them even more. And for the first time ever, I came across a person who, when they go quiet like I do. It's almost like I don't exist, like gone. And then for a second, there was a twinge of, oh my God, did I do something? And I was like, no, girl, you didn't do nothing. You didn't do nothing. And that's when I realized, like, oh my goodness, this is what people feel when I disappear. Like, they literally didn't do anything, but they don't have that internal knowing of, no, she's not mad at me. No, she didn't block me, because a lot of people would think that I blocked them, that I was still on social media, but I just blocked them in particular. And this realization of how my behaviors would affect other people and the kind of gravity that I might hold for other people became front and center. I couldn't pretend like it was no big deal. And at that point, that's what triggered the crap out of me. And it's like, wow, if I'm making other people feel so abandoned, oh no. And then those wounds that were stitched shut by the hands of a toddler, those ripped all the way back open. Childhood wounds ripped all the F way back open. Not because the counterpart did anything in particular to intentionally hurt my feelings or anything like that. Their presence during that period of my life, even though it was a very short presence, it created a space that allowed for me to begin finally analyzing, like, why do I act like that? It's a trauma response. I realized I was becoming overwhelmed. Overwhelmed with the amount of connections that were being forged with other people, and they were becoming not independent, but codependent on me and my energy. And they were seeing aspects of me that I don't show people in real life. I remember because my ex sister-in-law at the time, she was no longer part of the family, and she had been in our family, I mean, for a long time. I want to say about 12 years or something like that at that point. And, she happened to add me on Facebook out of the blue. I guess we had a mutual friend, and so she added me again. And I remember one day, this was before the counterpart arrived, she privately messaged me, and she's like, I didn't know you were this funny. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, every day I wake up and I'm like, what did you post now? Because I want to laugh. If I get pissed off, if I get stressed out, I look for your profile and I see what you post because I want to laugh. And I'm just like, really? You think it's that funny? And she's like, it's hella funny. And I was just like, huh, that's weird. That's just weird. And I didn't realize I was forming these bonds with other people. Like, she's known me a large portion of my life at that point. A large portion of my life. She knew me in real life. And that was the thing. Pisceans, do people in your environment really know you in real life? Do they know you in real life? Have you allowed them to really truly see who you are? Have you allowed yourself to see who you are? Christy K says, was he triggered too as much as you were at the time? Oh, triggered by me? I don't know. I don't know. Probably. I probably irritated the hell out of him. Like, I assume he was triggered because and these are just assumptions. I mean, I don't know. I don't know for sure. But I assume he was triggered because probably for the first time in his life, he's not getting his way. I don't know. That's an assumption. Like, I remember thinking that for a few days, like, you're just pissed because you're not getting your way. You're used to getting your way with any girl. I don't care. You think I care? And I remember feeling that for like maybe 2 days or so. 2 days, maybe. I don't know. Something like that. Where I was just like, game recognized, game gangster. Because it's like, fool, I'm just like you. I'm just like you. You want to be cold hearted? Let's do it. You know, like, yeah. And my memory really, really sucks. The reason I remember this was because I was like, I'll block you. And he's like, no, you won't. And I said, yeah, I will. And he's like, no, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. And I was like, dare me. And then the 3 little bubbles were still dancing and I blocked him. And? and then our mutual friend, the person that we knew mutually, then messaged me and was like, did you block him? Yeah, I did. Why did you block him? Because he said I wouldn't. And then that mutual friend was like, that's really effed. I know. She's like, are you going to keep him blocked? No, I'm going to leave him blocked for like another day or so. Let him learn. I'm not playing games with you. If I say I'm going to block you and you tell me I won't, I say it again and you say it again, I'm going to block you. She's like, that's mean. I know. I know. Yeah, the 3 little bubbles were still dancing. He was typing. I was like, I'll cut you off right there. Not even going to hear what you have to say. You know, I was totally like, Capricorn moon, yo. That comes hard. Yeah, if you want to argue with me in Messenger, I'm going to block your ability to contact me as your bubbles are dancing. Just to be extra, you know, extra eggplantish. I'm just saying. I'm not usually mean like that, but you gotta like trigger me in such a special way. Special way. So yeah, that's one of the things that I one of the very few things that I remember, because it was hilarious to me, but it wasn't hilarious to them. Because I was laughing. I was like, see, F you and your 3 bubbles. I'm not playing with you. You think I'm gonna chase after you like all the little girls? I don't think so. First and foremost, I'm married. So if you think, you thought wrong. Yeah, no, I totally recognize that we probably did trigger each other without intending to. Just because, you know, when you're a particular type of person, which we are very similar, very, very similar, it's hard to trigger people like that. is very hard. Oh, but once you're triggered, I just gotta laugh about it because it's like, damn, you didn't even do anything. How the hell did you trigger me like that? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's a resonance. Maybe for the first time, we need to begin seeing the twin flame connection as nothing but a gift of being able to see yourself existing outside of yourself. You know, like the me that I was then. God, I could not survive a relationship with that. I couldn't. There's no way. There's no way I'd be able to survive a relationship with myself like that. Now, these days, the me that I am now, I could totally have a friend like me. You know, like, it would just be fun. It would be fun. It would be empowering. And that's why at this point, I'm kind of like, well, I guess if we have to interact, if we have to have connectivity in order to do whatever soul purpose we promise we do, okay, that will work now. I had to go through a lot and realize a lot about myself in order to be able to heal those parts of me that were nothing but trauma responses. I mean, does that mean I no longer have any trauma responses? No, I'm still full of trauma. I'm still full of trauma response. But now I'm more cognitive. And because of that increase in cognition, I'm able to more better regulate all of these trauma responses that I still have. You know, I'm able to ask myself, like, okay, why am I acting like this? What's actually going on? I don't think it's a person triggering me. I think something else is being triggered within me. What is it? What's the root causation? Because I'm not just going to keep acting a fool at this point. I need to figure out what's going on within me. And that's such a gift. Like, no one else can give you that type of gift of clarity of self. You know, and all we do is minimize these really profound connections into, like, what, sexual conquest. That's such a waste, such a waste of an opportunity to learn things that really, who else is going to help you learn that? Who else could? I don't know. I don't know if there's anyone else that could. I don't know if you'd be willing to allow anyone else to help you learn that. Hope. Card number 16, hope. Allowing yourself to have hope for your growth, with an understanding that hope is a precursor for knowing. Hope and faith, they are not the end destination. They are simply a precursor, a prerequisite for you to get to this place of knowing that you're okay, that you are perfect as you are, with room to grow, room to shift, that you don't have to be something else, someone else, somewhere else, just to have the right to exist. Because you breathe, because you exist, you have the right to. Okay? Ooh, and what if? Ooh. What if the whole covering the face as part of, you know, community guidelines at this point are a thinly veiled way to take away your right to exist? Because I truly believe that on an esoteric level, so long as you breathe, you have a right to exist. You are taking in the breath of life, exhaling the darkness of your ego-based death. So long as you breathe, that is like communication between the self, the soul, and the creator. If you look at ancient texts, God breathes life into things. When they take away or restrict your ability to breathe, the implications of the ramifications of that, we don't want to go that deep. Card number 9, communication. So you and whoever this is, there's a loyalty between the two of you that's unspoken. It's something that exists, and that's fine. It could just be allowed to exist. But they're howling at the moon. They're howling at the moon. The moon being the things that are hidden. There's a communication taking place that's not being recognized. It's energetic in nature, or maybe they're trying to find a way to contact you. I'm not too sure. But there's a communication attempting to happen. Card number 27, self-worth. So long as you continue to hide your true identity, okay? Notice how her face is covered. So long as you continue to try and hide your true identity, you yourself are not going to know who you are. Because in order to hide your identity, you have to identify as something else to cover it up. 2 is the number of guidance. 7 is the number of completion. 9 is the number of creation. 2 plus 7 is 9, right? So you're being guided to complete this task in order to reach a level of co-creation. Co-creation and communication. There's something with the suffix com. Oh, no, prefix, not suffix. Yikes. Prefix. Okay. Let's see. With, together, in association. Completely. Commit. With, together. Archaic form of classic Latin, come, together, together with, in combination. Okay. Beside, nearby, with. The coming together through conversation. Conversation between souls or conversation between humans. Let's look at etymology online. Let's see. Let's see. Taken in English as a living prefix meaning together, mutually, in common, and used promiscuously with native words and Latin-derived words, not beginning with vowels, including some already having it. Ab urbe condita. Let's see. Yeah. It's a communication. A communication that's not taking place because the self-worth is not established yet. That self-worth is not established, and the grounds, the foundation from which they would communicate has not been built. But there's an opening, a doorway in the third eye that's being allowed to dilate. And that dilation is what's going to allow for the communication to be received. Received by, I hear transducer. Hold on. Transducer is any device that converts one form of energy into a readable signal. Many transducers have an input that is then converted to a proportional electrical signal. Common inputs include energy, torque, light, force, position, acceleration, and other physical properties. Who's a transducer, though? Converting one energy from another into another. So emotion is a type of energy. It's a type of frequency. I'm wondering if this is a message that you're taking in, you are feeling, you are transducing their emotional energy into a different type of energy, a type of energy that then reads as a communication. You're taking in communication from them and their soul. They feel alone. They feel alone and they feel misunderstood. They feel alone, misunderstood, and very rejected is the sense that I get. Integrity. You have to make sure you keep your integrity about you, okay? Just because you sense this from someone does not mean you need to come rushing in to save them. It has to be their choice to connect with you. It has to be their choice to connect with you. You cannot save someone from their own process. The moment you try to is a moment that, you probably get accused of so many different things that really are not reflective of your level of integrity, compassion, and grace. Just to avoid all the complications, give them the opportunity to choose to communicate with you if they do. Well, what if they don't, Emmy? Well, then they don't. They don't then. But what? Let them decide. Let them really seriously decide for themselves. That's how you love people. When you truly love someone, you never allow your love to become the very cage that imprisons them in their existence. Because that's not love, that's ownership. It's ownership. How do I know that my husband really truly loves me? He never tries to own me. We coexist. We are interdependent. We both appreciate each other to the utmost degree and depth. There's never, you're not allowed to talk to this person. You're not allowed to go there. There just isn't. There isn't. Because anything short of what we have, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want to be owned. I don't want to be told what to do. I don't want to be guilted into things. And I don't want him to either. So Mike says they already bonded with me, then backed away. What's wrong with that? What is wrong with bonding with you and then backing away? Because when statements like that are made, and this is just an assumption, that's why I'm asking you what you mean by that and what's wrong with that. But the assumption is this. If you make a statement where they bonded with me and then backed away, it's almost as though you didn't bond with them, you branded them. Now they're your property, and how dare they go off ranch? You can bond with me and walk away. Absolutely. I won't even question it. I'll be like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Maybe I don't know. Hope you're happy. That's my process right there. Just because you bond with someone does not now obligate them to forever have loyalty to you. Do you know how many people I've bonded with over the years of being publicly visible? And most of them are not around. Do I have to be upset? Do they have to have this loyalty to me like that? No. Mike says, I have abandonment issues, but it brought them out so I can deal with them. No. I don't think you understand what your soul is trying to help you experience. Nah, it's not my thing. I'm authentic. Not today, Satan! Not today! Okay, I'm just going to leave that alone. You go ahead and continue to exist in whatever way you choose to see yourself. Totally respect that. I don't agree with it, but I totally respect it. I'm going to just leave that alone. So, yeah, strength in reverse. That's weakness. Strength upside down is weakness. It's important for us to get to a point where we can really, truly be honest with ourselves instead of trying to convince yourself that you're this and that. Speaking in general terms now, because we've left Mike alone, instead of trying to convince yourself of who and what you are, why don't you try viewing yourself? Why don't you try viewing yourself from outside of yourself? How do people receive you? And it's not about allowing other people to dictate your worth. It's about allowing people who are in your proximity, who have experienced your presence, to help you further refine what you think of yourself. Okay? It's more about that than anything. For me, I'm not going to let someone tell me that I'm less than what I feel I am, but there's a very real need for me to allow my environment to communicate to me in some way that I'm not my perception of being less than what I actually am needs to be corrected. It's not necessarily that I have a lack of sense of worth. You know what I mean? It's more that I understand the type of life that I've lived all the way up to this point. I understand a lot of the programming that's been incepted into me since birth. And I understand that it's like, that's a lot that I'm going to have to undo for myself. The perception of no one wants to hear what you have to say, that you should just be quiet and sit down and stop making trouble, stop telling people all of these things that are going to upset them, but it's the truth. Well, no one wants to hear the truth. You're too intense, Emmy. You're too this, you're too that. And so I have to allow my environment, which is you guys, to be able to help me better understand the process that I'm in. I'm in the process of learning how to more properly, more deeply love and accept myself as I am. I've made progress, but I'm not where I know I should be. I know I can love myself much more deeply than where I'm at right now. I've made a lot of progress, and I need to give myself that credit. But there are still times where I find myself reverting back to those old patterns of like, girl, don't you recognize you are intentionally trying to trigger people so they don't come around? Stop it. Stop it. That's a reactive love bonding type of thing. That's a trauma response. Where it's like, before you get the opportunity to abandon me, I'm going to trigger you so that you can get pushed away. Now it's on my terms. I'm not going to give you the opportunity to abandon me. I'm going to cut out before you can. That's a trauma response. Does that make me a broken person? No, that makes me a highly evolved, highly cognitive human being. The fact that I can see this about myself. It's not going to help you none to think that everything is always someone else. Oh, I have these problems, but you're triggering me, so it's your fault. It's not me. It's you. I mean, you getting squeaky voice? Are you for real getting squeaky voice about your own journey? You can be squeaky voice all you want, but then you can't get mad when someone hears it and is like, oh, you squeaky voice. Oh, you mad. You big mad. You want to argue. You want to argue with me? Like, no. Don't ever take yourself so seriously that you can't laugh at the way your trauma causes you to act silly. A lot of my behaviors when my trauma is triggered, it's just silliness. Like, girl, you really trying to convince yourself that people don't like you? I mean, yeah, some people don't, but they're crappy people anyways. I mean, I gotta laugh when I say things like that to myself. Like, you so full of it, girlfriend. And that's why I like myself now. I can turn anything into a joke. Hey, yeah. That's a trauma response too, but at least I'm laughing. I would rather be laughing than crying. What? Either way, I gotta deal with my issues. Either way, I would rather be laughing than crying as I deal with my issues. Hey, laughing, crying, it doesn't matter. All that matters to me is that I have the willingness, the ability to look myself in the eyes and still feel love. Recognize the ways in which I'm falling short of my potentiality, but I can still love myself. Surrender in reverse. Like, someone wants to just be stubborn AF and not surrender to their own process, their own cleansing and purging of all of these distorted thoughts. I tell you guys, if you have a conversation with someone, conversation means together. There's back and forth, right? And if that conversation is really just you needing to be able to talk about other people and how other people have harmed you, but lack the willingness and the ability to see how it was really you that harmed yourself, it is your issues that are being triggered, and therefore it's not an external situation. An external situation is being used for an internal circumstance to be recognized. I mean, that's just, I'm going to leave that alone. Be fearless. Be fearless. Allow yourself to be your own lighthouse. You feel lost at sea, that ocean water is you. That's your emotions. The fog, that's your lack of willingness to see clearly. The rocks that you're about to crash into, that's your stubbornness. Those are the parts of you that have become so condensed, that have become miasmic, frozen light code, paused lessons. But they're jagged rocks. Yeah. Did you smooth them over? Did you take the time to smooth yourself over? No. Okay, so then why would they not be jagged? These are parts that have broken off of you and are just still stored within you. If you allow yourself to be a lighthouse, you can navigate through that. You absolutely can still navigate through that. The question here is, do you want to? Or do you want to stay in that comfortable position of it's everyone else but me? That's ugly. I tell you that right now. I tell you that right now. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Whew. Is ugly. Those type of behaviors, all of us are capable of it. I myself am capable of it. Why do you think I know it's ugly? It's not because I saw it in someone else. It's because I understand the devastating effects on me and my perception of myself when I went through that myself because of myself. No, the things that happened to me in life, I take ownership of the decisions I made, the options I chose that got me to the situation that I was at. And I understand the situations that I'm participating in. Those are the situations that will grow me. It's never someone else. It is never someone else. Someone used me. Okay, did I establish that? Did I establish that relationship dynamic? Did I overgive again? Because I have a history of that. No, it's not, oh, people are just users. No, 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 no. Users can't use people who are not willing to participate. So, this is not me saying that they're not a bad person and I'm the bad person. This is me saying, how did I allow this in so that I won't choose that BS again? I'm obligated to protect myself. My obligation is to me and my growth. Now, if confrontation is going to help me grow because I need to find my voice and use it, by all means. Short of that need, do I need to explain to you what you did to me and this and that? No. This is my selfish moment. I'm learning. I really don't even have the ability to care any less than what I already don't care right now because I'm focused on my growth. Ooh, 88% at 8:53. What? That's 8888. What? Yeah. Yep. 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 Ooh, Dee Dee says I overgive a lot. Yep. That's how we establish those relationship dynamics. Once they're established, that's extremely hard to change. Why can't I live stream on Facebook? Because I established that overgiving. I gave people a sense of entitlement over me, my gifts, everything. I'm done with that. I'm not that person anymore. But here's the thing, as strong as I know myself to be at this point, as cognitively aware as I am about myself, my life, my history, gosh, live streaming on Facebook for a week, y'all saw my attitude changing. Y'all saw my attitude changing last week. I could feel it. Despite knowing, man, despite knowing what I've lived through on Facebook, I found myself returning back to that. I did expedites for the first time, being live on Facebook again after years of being gone. Didn't even realize I was overgiving again. People were asking just for a scan. That's what they purchased, was a scan. I'm doing full recodements, extractions, all biznatch. Did we not grow out of that? I thought I did. I thought I did. No. The dynamic is there. It's already established. The amount of overgiving that I did, that's what established that. I have to take ownership of that. I cannot just be like, oh my God, these people just want free stuff all the time. No, girl, that's what you taught them. That's what you taught them is not just acceptable, but appropriate and expected. You co-created that. And so because I co-created that, I can't just blame other people. I can't. I disappeared. Quite a few people did not realize I went to YouTube. I came back randomly, now live streaming again. And so people will pick right up exactly where you left off. What am I trying to say? If I continue to live stream on Facebook, eventually I will change that dynamic. Do I want to? That's going to take a lot of disruption of my personal peace. Do I want to? Is there a benefit to that? And this has a lot to do with you needing to recognize, do I need to do this, or am I just trying to prove something? Is the price that I'm going to pay in order to prove something that I want to prove worth it? Because at the end of the day, if I do that and I prove that I can change the dynamic, what's the effect on that? How do I benefit from that? Because I can tell myself I'm powerful? I already know I am. So why do I need to do that? I don't. That's another ego-based goal. I don't need to do that. I don't need to show people and prove to people. No. I left for a reason. I made a conscious decision to exit out of places of toxicity. Now, I'm friends with some of you on Facebook. You join me here on YouTube. There's none of that Facebook toxicity here. This is like a really divine, very, very sacred space for me. So do I have to prove things to people who don't want to leave that place of toxicity? This is an analogy. If you allow yourself to really hear what I'm communicating right now, this is an analogy. Do you need to continue to return to the toxic pool in order to show all the people who choose to marinate in that toxicity? Honey, they watched you climb out the pool. Not only did they not help you out of the pool, not only did they not join you as you exited the pool with a realization of like, we don't have to stay here. Oh my gosh. I promise you, they talked caca about you as they watched you get out. We see this time and time and time again. How many rappers, how many R&B stars, they catch flack because they leave their community, which is a very hard type of environment, one full of violence, one devoid of opportunity and peace. And if you leave that environment, they think they're too good now. They different now. Yeah. You think it only happens in hoods? When you exit out of social environments because you've outgrown the level of toxicity inherent in that environment, the people who are comfortable in that toxicity, they will gather all the others to malign you behind your back. But here's the beautiful thing. That's behind you. That's not part of your future. That's not part of where you are traveling to. So who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Use your caring for yourself and the things that grow you in a compassionate way. Use all of that energy to care about the things that help your environment further develop, become more refined, become a place that serves as a sanctuary for your soul as well as others. Believe in yourself. 4 is a number of self. Believe. Like a phoenix from the ashes, you're going to rise. You just have to stop death grip holding onto the things that are too dense to rise with you. Oh my God, why does he always call when I'm live? Hey, I'm live.
Fell asleep last night.
It's okay. I'm live streaming. Let me FaceTime you after. Celebration, card number 6, celebration. Learn to celebrate yourself. Learn to celebrate your growth, the movement that you've had within your journey, within your soul. There's so many things about you and your life that you can and should celebrate. I promise you, the people who are intimidated by your rise are not going to give you permission to celebrate. They're not. They're going to be offended by your existence, as though it's a secret, that they're offended by the fact that you're amazing. No, it's fine for you to think you're amazing. That has nothing to do with you thinking someone else is less than you. Recognition of your worth, your divine right to be happy, to feel whole, to love yourself. There will always be people who will exist who will not give you permission for that. Here's the thing, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn what you give me permission for. I'm living my own life and I'm living peacefully. You can't tell me what to do or think about myself. Only I can do that. And then you'll come across people who will tell you that logic is stubborn. Okay, but why does my peaceful logic for my peaceful life? How does that affect you and why does it offend you? Because you can't manipulate me? Why do I have to agree with you? Yes. When people need you to agree with them, it's because they don't actually believe what it is they're telling you they believe. Safety in numbers. That's behaviors of the weak. Weak people need large numbers because if enough of them believe the same thing, then it has to be true. It has to be right. And no, you're not allowed to question. I've exited multiple communities that are like that. You're not allowed to question. You have to just believe. Believe what? Someone recently asked in the Soul Sanctuary private group on Facebook that someone told them, they wanted my personal stance. Someone told them that they have to either believe the whole Bible or they don't believe God exists. And they don't know how to feel about that. Well, why are you not allowed to question? I mean, you are a child of God, right? Children ask questions. The smarter the child, the more questions you're going to be asked. I mean, I've lived half my life being asked questions day in and day out, every day, all day by my kids. One of my kids has this thing where he asks me all of these questions all day where it's like, Mommy, would you rather be like a monster with no soul or like a soul that fights monsters? Like, well, what are the benefits and what's the pros and the cons for each? I don't know what I would decide. Mm-hmm. The most profound one that he asked me, it was the other day. He asked me, would you rather die young or live forever, but you have to watch everyone else die? And I said, well, if I were to die young, would it be with purpose? He said, yes, have purpose. Well, I'd rather die young then. He said, what about your family? And I was like, but you said that if I live long, the other option would be I would have to watch everyone else die. Yeah. Like, so then why is that unfair? He goes, I don't know. Would you rather eat pancakes for the rest of your life or just sausage? I gotta get to work. You know, my children are extremely, extremely intelligent, profound brains they have. But that comes with it all day asking questions. All day. And no, I'm not going to tell you to stop asking questions, because although it might be inconvenient, having to think of like what's the proper answer, I feel like I'm tested all day. What if I say the wrong thing? You know, although it creates an anxiety in me, like, what if I answer this wrong? I want to cultivate that. I want to absolutely support that, cultivate it. Like, I want you to be able to question and be comfortable in questioning. No, I don't ever want to give you this low key message of do what I say because I said so. No. Mm-mm. You will be a child for only a small period of your life. I want to make sure what you experience in that childhood is going to support you as the most powerful, most profound, most well balanced, well centered adult you could possibly be. So if I can be a parent like that, you telling me I can be a healthier parent than God? That God requires you to not ask? That don't sound right. That don't sound right at all. As a matter of fact, last I checked, there was a council of human men that was had quite a long time ago. And they sat and decided what books would be allowed to be part of the Bible. So that's not the word of God. That's decisions made by a handful of men. I'm not saying men are the problem. I'm saying get out of here with your bullshit. That's what I'm saying. Let me clarify. No, you should be able to question. You should be able to question yourself. You should be able to question other people. You should be able to question the ramifications of what you decide, which option you choose. There is no need for secrets to exist between the self and the soul. There's no need for that. And I tell you, if you think you're keeping secrets between you and whoever this other soul is that is being said to be considering to come forward and have communication and trigger your growth, let's look. Did we not already, right? Communication, right? That doorway in the third eye opening up, right? You're not going to hide this from them. You're not. You're not going to hide this from them. You can try. You can absolutely try if you want. You could. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to work. If we really truly want to hear the words of Jesus the Christ, we would look into the history of the Nazarenes, the Essenes, the Cathars, the two groups that the Vatican launched a campaign to eradicate. Crazy, huh? Why would we launch a war to cleanse the world of Cathars and Essenes when Jesus was an Essene? Don't get me started. My work doesn't contradict the existence of Jesus the Christ or God. I'm evidence that they both existed and that God continues to exist. Anyone who tries to come at me and tell me that I am blasphemous, I'm doing work of the devil, and I'm not more powerful than God. You're a funny one, aren't you? You're a funny one. God made me the way I am. See that? In addition, I mean, I don't need to explain, but I like to really rub more salt into that cut that I just did on you. I'm Catholic, baptized and confirmed. I've gone to private Catholic school from kindergarten all the way through 12th grade. Every day I took theology classes. I have all my sacraments. And for a good period of my young life, my goal was to become a Carmelite nun. Yeah, tell me again how I don't know God as explained by religion? Mm, right, right. It's all good. It's all good. That's all good. Because it helps me to further understand the importance of the work that I do and why it has to continue to be so publicly visible. It needs to be made normal to question. Because I'm not questioning the existence of God at all. At all. At all. I mean, there was a period of my life where I went to church literally 7 days a week. I would go to 7 o'clock mass daily. Before the 7 o'clock mass, I would arrive at church around 5:30 a.m. and pray until mass started at 7. And when it concluded at 7:50 a.m., I would stay with all the old women and pray the novena until around 11. Around 11:30, I would go to a different church where they had another mass at 11:30. At which point, when that mass concludes at almost 1 p.m., I would then pray some more in the garden. Don't tell me what I do and don't know about God. My communication and relationship with God is much more profound than most people realize. I don't exist as a testament to the lack of existence of God. I'm evidence of it. That needs to no longer be a secret. I mean, not that it was, it's just I don't speak about it too much. I just don't speak about it too much. I did have a very extensive schedule. And here's the funny thing. I had that schedule when I was at the deepest, most darkest depression of my entire life. Yeah. Yep. That's how I kept myself from going even further into that darkness. And then I realized maybe God wanted me to go deeper into my darkness because there's a light that exists inside me, covered by the shadow aspects that society told me I could not be. Was my depression evidence of my fracturedness, that I was broken by the world, by life? No. My depression, it was evidence of how my soul was offended by the way the world functions, and that I could no longer be consumed by other people's lack of integrity, lack of compassion, and lack of divinity. I am who I am because this is who God asked me to be. Not going to be ashamed of that anymore. Whatever you need to go through in life is to help you learn and grow who you were asked to be before you became physical form. We were each asked to be someone. Someone for ourselves, someone for someone else, someone for the world. I don't know. The human brain does not have the capacity to compute to that degree. We are so limited in our ability to perceive, to understand, to process. I mean, as much as you think you know, I promise you, your life has more to teach you. Your life and all the people who you will come across during that lifetime. It's not a specific sector of society. It's not a specific belief structure. It's not a specific community or person. You know, I've asked many people who have asked me if I could be their guru. I've asked them to please stop. Don't ever look at me as a guru. I am your equal. We're all just confused. We're all confused with limited ability to understand. So how about we all just hold each other as we walk each other home? There's no hierarchy in that way. The only hierarchy that exists within creation is the hierarchy that serves as a structure from things to form individuated experiences and identities. You want to know about a hierarchy? They're nothing but pillars that hold the other up. That's it. It's an interwoven type of coexistence. Coexistence. Matthew says, I can't see God as a parent. Tried, so I question the existence of a God. But I find the idea a pleasant fantasy. Wish I could believe it, but feel fine not believing. Is that bad? No. That's where you are within your journey. Do I see God as a parent? To see God as a parent would be to limit all the other aspects, all the other emanations and existences of that God essence. I've shared this before. Someone got into an argument with me online. They were trying to bait me into an argument. I wouldn't accept the bait. And so they thought they found the trump card, right? They asked me, well, then define God if you know God so well. I know God enough that if I begin to define God, it puts God in specific forms, which then takes away God's innate ability and existence of being the formless one. So how would I define God? I would define God with the truth as I've lived it. God is the everything, the nothing, and the spaces in between. That encompasses everything. The everything, the nothing, and the spaces in between. Do I see God as a parent? During periods of my life where I feel like a fractured child, yes. During periods of my life where I feel whole, where I feel like I'm entering into an adulthood of my consciousness and awareness, no, I don't see God as a parent. I see God as a teacher, a leader, a guide. When I'm not in that part of my journey, I see God as a friend who encourages me ever so quietly, whispers into my heart, you got this. But God is what? What you believe God to be? Which is what? What someone else told you to believe. I'm not going to believe God to be what someone else told me to believe. I'm going to believe God to be what I've lived God to be in my life. The everything, the nothing, and the spaces in between. Those periods of my life where I felt God pull away from me. Was God really pulling away from me? Or was God creating a space between us so that I could long to be closer and therefore expand in my awareness of the boundaries that I believed existed around me? I mean, one of the reasons I had to turn away from my religion was because they wouldn't allow me to be a priest. I felt like I needed to be able to have the ability to speak to my people in the way God encourages me to speak. And they told me because I'm a woman, I'm not allowed to be a priest or even a deacon. I could not have sermon with my people. I don't want to just be a servant quietly serving. And it wasn't necessarily that I wanted so badly to be seen and heard. It's that I needed to know I had the option when God asks me to speak, to be able to have the ability to speak freely. And they wouldn't allow me. So although I still identify as Catholic, baptized and confirmed, I no longer practice a practice that takes me further away from the purpose God gave me. I would not be able to speak in the way I do and have the understanding, the cognition that I have, if God did not give it to me, cultivate it in me through the life that was created for me. And every single person that I've come across has added another piece to that divine puzzle that helps me to understand more profoundly what God asks me to understand. So, this masculine. I mean, okay, Lord God, masculine. This is a masculine energy that just so badly needs your assistance in some way. Like, are you needing to save them from themselves? No, I don't think so. What are you needing to do? I think maybe just hold space, meaning let another person outside of you feel, even without spoken word, really just feel this sense of, all right, I'm just going through something to learn something. It's going to be okay. I'm going to be okay. I don't know how I'm going to be okay, but I'm going to be okay because, baby boo, you are going to be okay. You survived everything in your life thus far. You're going to survive this too. But here's the key. Here's the key. At some point, you're going to have to make a decision. Are you in this human experience to simply survive it? Or are you needing to choose to enter into a place of thriving? I'm not a survivor, I'm a thriver. It's not enough for me to simply survive the situations that life brings my way. I need to thrive after the destruction. And no, it's not me being masochistic. Like, oh my God, why would you let someone destroy you? You're not destroying me is the thing. You're being allowed to access me in the way that you are and given the opportunity to do what you did because you are being used as a tool of my soul. My soul is using you to deconstruct the parts of me that are not in alignment with my truth and a centered type of growth. So you never had that power to destroy me. You were only given that illusion and that suggestion so that you could serve your purpose in my life. And now that you've served that purpose and helped me to learn what I need to learn, your time with me is now done. Granted, I did not consciously decide, like, oh, I'm going to let you into my life so you can make a big mess so I could learn something. No, I didn't decide that cognitively. But if that's where it's headed, I mean, let me at least be fully present so that I don't have to repeat this lesson with someone else. I don't like messes. Security. You're safe within the home of your heart. You are safe within your life. Again, this sense of this is someone who does not feel safe in their life. And for some reason, your existence helps them to feel safe. It gives them this sense of hope. Hope for what? I don't know. Containment. That destructive fire that they experience in their previous life, like that previous life is the period of their life they just exited. Maybe it's a relationship, a living situation, a work situation. They've contained that fire. It's no longer just raging through their environment. They've contained it. It's okay. They just want to forget. They don't want to remember what happened. They don't want to deal with any of that. You know what I mean? They don't want to deal with any of that. I have heard the term Heavenly Father. I have a big problem with that term. If we are made in the likeness of God and God is the Father, where's my mother? I want my mother. I want my divine mother. If I have a Heavenly Father, I want a divine mother too. How come she's never spoken about? Because if we are made in the likeness of God, and in order to create new life, you need both a father and a mother, right? Where is our mother? Bring Sophia back home. The children have acted a fool in her absence. Bring Sophia and all her wisdom back home. Bring the mother back home. That's that. That's that. People who want to talk about the term Heavenly Father, before you say another word to me, tell me where my mother is. I'm just saying. Tell me where my mother is. It's not a secret. Remember, this reading it's not a secret. It's a secret, but you already know. What do you know? Everything that you need to. Everything that you need to know is already contained within you. It's just a matter of you allowing yourself to accept it as truth. Invocation in reverse. We've been pushing away instead of calling towards us and asking for intercession, for divinity to work on our behalf to restabilize us. We think that we need to suffer, that it's somehow, it's somehow divine and part of our divine journey to suffer. No, let's get this straight. Pain is the greatest teacher you will ever have. Suffering, the amplification of that pain, is optional. Let's say you broke a bone, right? That's painful. That's going to create an opportunity for growth in that area. To heal it, we need to form more bone. It's going to be fortified. You're never going to break your bone in that same place ever again. You might break it a little bit off from there, but not in that place ever again once it's healed. Now, that's the pain, right? We're going to learn. We don't take a bat and hit our leg with it as hard as we can, because that's going to break. So we've learned in a very painful manner. Now, suffering to me would be the equivalent of you continuing to use that leg without a cast, because you're telling yourself, well, God broke my leg to teach me something, so I'm going to have to just leave it like that. Okay. But I think you're damaging it more. See, when we choose to have a stubbornness that's detrimental to our healing, we suffer. When your stubbornness has to do with you being unwilling to give up and give in, continuing to fight for yourself, that's good for you. Fighting yourself, that's not good for you. That's suffering. Suffering is unnecessary. Your imagination causes the suffering. So this is something like it makes me feel like there was a situation and maybe there wasn't proper communication. And so classic Piscean, classic empath, we make up a story in the absence of the knowing. When we don't know what happened, when we don't know what's going on, we make up a story. We tell ourselves, well, they probably this, and this. We don't know if they did. We don't know if they did. we're believing they did because it's easier to believe this story than to have a void exist in our need to know. Don't let your imagination F you up. See, there's no balance. Once you start in that cycle of imagining, like, oh, they hate me now and this and that, you're not going to have balance. Your struggle is going to intensify. And for some, I'm wondering if that's why you need to have a communication. I don't know. Okay. Initiation. You didn't want to be a part of something. They didn't want to be a part of something. It's this sense of whoever this person is for you, they were being initiated into some type of cycle, living arrangement, or something that just was not, it was not in alignment with what they needed as a person. And so they've exited that. They've gotten some sort of clarity and they've exited that. And although they had that clarity enough to exit it, they don't have clarity enough to heal from it. And I think that's why you have to come in at some point. I don't know when, but I think at some point you need to come in and be a part of their journey to help them sift through the wreckage of their heart. Now, whatever's destroyed within you, those components will be reutilized by your soul. They'll be part of your reconstruction. And just like with plastic surgery, say you need to reconstruct your nose or another part of your body, they'll take a graft from somewhere else on your body. I saw this girl, it was the weirdest thing. It says a lot if I say something is weird. She got implants, hair implants into her eyebrows, which that in itself is not really that weird. People want bushy brows, whatever. What was weird was that the brow hairs went all the way up to her hairline. Like when she straightens the brow hairs, pushes them all the way up, like that was like 2 inches long, girl. Why you let it get that long? And the video she was doing was to trim the hairs. I was just like, that makes me feel some kind of way. I don't know how to feel. I've never seen lashes. No, not lashes, but brows that long. Okay. Refocus. Familiar and guardian. So with it in reverse, this is telling me that this was someone who was once familiar to you, but they've been through so much. They're no longer familiar. You don't know them anymore. They've become a different person because of their life events. In the time you first knew them till now, whatever that span of time is, they've become a different person. So this is not going to be a repeat, a second go at something that expired long time ago. If you reconnect with whoever this is for you, it's going to be a completely different experience. They are a different person at this point. Okay. Manifestation in reverse. They're afraid to manifest this. They're afraid to come forward. You're afraid to allow them. This is a holding pattern that you guys have been in. Boundaries. So it's almost this thing of a fear of if they don't approach you proper for you, for your standards, you're going to cut them with your dagger. You're going to enforce those boundaries, which, you should, but is that necessary? I don't know that that's necessary. Cleansing in reverse. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to. Okay. It's almost this thing of like, once upon a time, you were a waterfall for them. This very fast moving, very turbulent water that really fascinated them, but also gave them this fear of drowning because let's face it, sometimes we got to drown a mofo. I don't know why. It's a Piscean thing. Sometimes people be drowning in our waters and we're just like, oh, you should have just stayed on the beach. But those are people who didn't have permission to enter into our depths. They crossed a boundary line without our consent. I feel like you're giving your consent to this person. In some way, shape, or form, consent is being given for them to enter into your waters once again. Ooh, holy waters. I don't know what that means. Baptized in the flame. Card number 3, betrayal. Someone suffered a betrayal. And I think that's what's tying into that holding pattern. Maybe you felt betrayed by them exiting. Maybe they felt betrayed back then. Maybe there was no betrayal back then, but now what they've lived through feels like a betrayal to them, which has nothing to do with you. And that's why they're seeking you out. You're a sanctuary to their heart. For some of us, you exist as a sanctuary to their heart. Protection, Sejal. You're heavily protected. Okay. Use your discernment. Obviously, this message is not applying to everyone, but if it does apply to you, there is no need for fear in the approach of this person. You are protected. Card number 47, soul separation, Cecil. You probably know this person from the past, either past life or earlier in this life. There is almost like an ease between you two, a comfort level. You guys are just being shy with each other is what it is. Card number 53, attract, Sigil. They can't leave you alone. Usually I'm like, ew, are you obsessed? Yuck. This doesn't feel like obsession. This literally feels like a electromagnetic type of, hold on. I heard induction. Let me see. Let's see. Action or process of inducting someone into a position or organization, the process or action of bringing about or giving rise to something, the interference of a general law from particular instances, the production of facts to prove a general statement, the production of an electric or magnetic state by the proximity without contact of an electrified or magnetized body. Okay. The stage of the working cycle of an internal combustion engine in which the fuel mixture is drawn into the cylinders. They're about to go boom, boom. Said a boom, boom, boom. They're about to go boom, boom. So, okay, it's a perpetual engine. Combustion, compression, transference, transferring that energy from one form to another, that forward motion, forward motion. This is a divine perpetual engine. It is that infinity symbol, the merging together and coming apart, merging together and coming apart, fission, fusion, flashline sequencing, part of K and part of Chi, masculine and feminine. This is a counterpart. You cannot have that perpetual engine of electromagnetic energy that will lead for the forward momentum, that forward movement, the trajectory of the human consciousness evolution, unless you have the polarized components in proper positioning, proximity without contact, that tension and the friction and the movement, the transference of energy, transduction. Oh my God, this is really, Michael's really going hard today. Card number 51, shedding cycle. You know, they put all their eggs in one basket. Turns out they were dealing with someone who was snaky. Time to shed. They shed their old life. Okay. But we just got to accept that. Card number 4, build up, Sigil. They had to tear everything down before they could build up. They needed all those components. Does this have to do with like financial components? They needed like financial stability, like all the components before they walk away. And no, it does not feel like they're using someone or being a thief or anything like that. This feels like a mutual investment that's needing to either be dissolved or properly structured so that they can continue to receive what is rightfully theirs. I'm being told it's important to emphasize, all they seek what is rightfully theirs. All they seek is what is rightfully theirs. Okay? So that tells me this is someone with integrity. Now, like I said, this is a general reading, so it might not apply to everyone. You have to use your discernment. Do not allow my words to become the fuel for this storyline that you are telling yourself. That is an absolute fictional story. Okay? Don't hurt yourself in that way. Cycles. For some, these are cycles. This coming together and coming apart, coming together and coming apart. That's like the piston and the cylinders, right? The piston and I don't know. So all I know is in a combustion engine, there is a piston. And at the very time, it's like filled with a certain amount of fuel. And, as it goes down, it pushes the other piston up. As the other piston goes up, there's this like explosion from the spark plug, which then boosh, and it pushes the other up, and then boom, 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 boom. And it's like, I don't know what I'm talking about now. Carrying on. I got sidetracked. I don't know what the point I was getting at. So card number 25, interference. This interference occurred a long time ago. Oh, damn, that's definitely a statement. The relationship that they were in was nothing but a prolonged interference. Oh, on track. Why the INFJ isn't antisocial but selective social. I remember I was telling my therapist years ago. I was in my early 20s. I was going through something, and I was like, I'm just antisocial. And she's like, well, you're socializing with me right now. You seem very social. I'm like, yeah, but only with certain people. Like, I don't like to socialize with people. And she's like, well, then you're not antisocial. You're socially selective. Ah, I like that. I'm socially selective. Empaths, Pisceans, when you are in the environment that feels very safe for you to be who you are authentically, and not that BS authentic, like, oh, I'm going to say I'm authentic. No, that's BS. I'm talking about really authentic, like you are who you are. If you feel safe there, you'll definitely blossom. You'll share so much of yourself. If you don't feel safe, you're going to close up. You're going to be a mimosa pudica. The sensitive plant, it closes up on itself. The leaves, they when it's not safe, they're like, la la la, it's safe. And then when something touches it, they're like, ah, it's not safe. So you're like a mimosa, okay? Mimosa pudica is a very good supplement. I'm not a doctor, but I'm just sharing information. It's a very good supplement to address parasites, intestinal parasites. Yes. I'm just saying, maybe you need to cleanse yourself. Maybe some of what you ingested with life has become the way in which parasitic thoughts, parasitic perception was internalized. You know what I mean? Maybe you took someone else's words in and you digested it. Galactic heritage, you're an alien, just accept it, okay? You're an alien AF, just accept it, just accept it. I've learned to accept my big ass forehead, look at that, like. One thing about gaining all this weight, which is fine for me, but one thing about gaining all this weight is that my cheeks have filled out way more, and so my forehead doesn't look as pronounced. But don't get it twisted. I'm choosing to believe, to continue believing pretty girls have big foreheads. That's what I've told myself for quite a few years to help myself better accept the proportions of forehead that I have. It's more like 5.5 head, which is fine. It's indicative of my elevations in computing capabilities. Bigger head means bigger brain. That's okay. Pretty girls have big foreheads. That's what I tell myself. I don't know if it's accurate, but it makes me feel better about myself. You know what I'm saying? Really? Do big foreheads not need Botox? I mean, yes, a lot of forehead to wrinkle up. So yeah, no, I'll accept that. I'm going to add that to my list of reasons to love my forehead. Card number 35, observe sigil. You got to observe, okay? Just observe. Make sure that you're getting the messages from your soul right. Card number 54, Andoran activation. This is dragon energy. I don't know. Maybe they were born in the year of the dragon. Maybe they resonate with dragons. I don't know. I don't know. My husband was born in the year of the dragon. I like it. I like him. Okay, card number 32, ancestral magic. I'm wondering if this person who interaction, communication needs to occur with, I wonder if they're going to trigger the return of your ancestral magic. I wonder if their proximity is going to open that portion of your morphogenetic template wide open, and then you can begin tapping into that. Ooh. Card number 27, intuition sigil. Use your intuition. It's just like plain and simple. Use your intuition. Use proper judgment. Now, society would tell us, all of these like gurus, self-healing, self-help people will tell you that don't be judgmental. Okay, Sherlock. How are we going to discern? Judgment is a component of discernment. You're going to listen to someone who doesn't know the difference between judgment and condemnation, because it's condemnation that we should not have. Judgment is part of you interpreting the messages, your environment, so you can decide what is healthy and not healthy for you. Condemnation is when you take that judgment and you inject that toxic into it and use that judgment to then vilify, condemn someone. Don't do that. Don't be that. But absolutely, you have to use judgment. Come on now. Come on now. Okay, I'm done. I gotta get going. I have sessions to start. So I'm not gonna do a final card. I will be doing Soul Sanctuary tomorrow. You guys head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/Soul Sanctuary 23, the number 23. Patreon.com/Soul Sanctuary 23. I have the Patreon set up, the different tiers of membership. Tomorrow, I'm going to come live at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to do the podcast, Soul Sanctuary podcast. You want to make sure you check out all of the tiers that I have available. So we only going to talk for about an hour, hour and a half during the Tuesday podcast. And after that, the conversation is absolutely going to continue with my private members. Okay. We're going to go real deep into whatever topic we're in. You have the opportunity to interact with me and like really go ham with questions and all of that. And there's also so many different other options for so many different types of, budgets that we have to work with. Hello, pandemic. We have to work with budgets. But I do want to say the highest level of membership, it's not going to be offered indefinitely. Okay. The highest level of membership, that has a lot to do with what's been going on with the world of energy. There have been mutations that have occurred, densifications, and all sorts of really advanced energetic things that make it a lot easier to breach someone's auric field. That highest level of membership, once it's taken away, I will not offer it again. With that, the highest level of membership, I will be doing clearings every month. This is my way of ensuring I have less extractions to do. Okay. But it's a really good way to make sure that you're just completely clear and you have the ability to maintain that. Again, I'm only going to offer that for a limited time. So if that's something that interests you, and there's a limited amount of people who can do that option, okay? Because you guys, I have a big schedule already. So, I'm trying to be realistic what I can do. But check it out, patreon.com/Soul Sanctuary 23. I'm going to be live tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, to do the Soul Sanctuary podcast here on this channel, on the Soul Sanctuary channel on YouTube, as well as Facebook. But yes, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe, share this out, give the video a like, and comment and all of that good stuff. All right. From the deepest depths of my heart's oceans, I love you guys. And I hope you have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. Bye, everyone.